Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the day after discussion of the Oilers' 1-0 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. The Oilers have gone into Los Angeles. They've taken both games from them in their own barn. They have a 3-1 series lead, and Edmonton has a chance to eliminate LA on home ice on Wednesday night at Rogers Place in Game 5. And this game, there's quite a bit to talk about. This video is not going to be nearly as long as the last day after video I did because there obviously wasn't nearly as many shenanigans going on, and there's a lot less goals to talk about. However, there's still a decent amount to talk about, and before I get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone that tuned into the live stream last night. I've been live streaming and live reacting to every game in the series so far. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it for Game 5, but I will also be live streaming Game 5. We had almost 5,000 people tune in at some point last night. It was unbelievable, the support you have all shown me. I am eternally grateful for it. So if you like these videos, if you like the playoff content so far, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Hit the little bell so that you are always notified when I upload a video or go live. And let's see if Edmonton can close this thing out on Wednesday. But before we even get to Wednesday, I don't want to look too far ahead because there's a lot to talk about in this game. A lot of good, some bad. I'm not going to pick apart the Oilers game. I do like to talk about analytics, and the Oilers analytics at the end of this game, they clearly don't look good because they were spent 90% of the game in their own zone, it felt like. Some of it was calculated. The Kings, they did get their looks, but Stuart Skinner played an unbelievable game. Probably the best game I've seen him play in an Oiler uniform so far. He joins, I believe, Curtis Joseph and Grant Fuhr as the only Oilers goalies to have a playoff shutout of 1-0, I think were the scores. I think that was the stat I saw on Twitter today. Someone will be able to fact check me on that. But the Oilers, yes, they did win 1-0. They only had 13 shots on goal. The Kings had 33. The shot attempts were 70 to 30 something in favor of the Kings. Face-off percentage was actually in Edmonton's favor. And Leon Draisaitl, he won a huge clutch face-off at the end of the game with 8.4 seconds left. Darnell Nurse did not clear the zone. However, Draisaitl had the huge block with about 2 seconds to play, and then the Oilers cleared it for the win. I did post that little reaction clip from the live stream. I did put that on Twitter because it's just such a moment. It was unbelievable. And the Kings, now, they had 41 hits to the Oilers' 27 hits. And the Kings at the end of the first period, I think they had about 25 hits at the end of the first. So they started to not focus on the physicality. They started to just focus on, okay, well, we're not scoring now, and we need to start playing offense and keep the puck in Edmonton zone. And they certainly did. They were all over the Oilers. Edmonton had 19 block shots. Now, the Kings also had 17 block shots themselves. The Oilers, I think, when we look at the raw data, like the shots on goal and how much time was spent in the Oilers zone compared to the Kings zone, I think the Oilers played better than what the metrics might show. They did have some looks. The Kings were very efficient at blocking shots, but this was a game where you would expect the Kings to win a 1-0 game with a shot clock that looks similar. Everyone talks about the Kings. They're 1-3-1. That's the style that they play. The fact that Edmonton was able to win with that style, they didn't open up nearly as much, and they were keeping the Kings to the outside. A lot of the Kings shots were from the perimeter. They did get a few looks on the inside in that high danger area, but not as much as you might think considering how much zone time they had. Edmonton's defenders and forwards, they were working really well together. They were really good at keeping them to the outside for the most part. And then, like I said, Stuart Skinner, terrific game. Now let's head into our topics of discussion. As I mentioned, Edmonton is up 3-1 over here. Game 4 recap, the topics, Stu, of course, defense, Vinny D 2.0. Now, why is that 2.0? Because in the last video, I talked about Vinny D, and I'm going to talk about him again in this video. So Vinny D 2.0, special teams, special plays, special players. No, just kidding. Just special teams. Discipline, look ahead to Game 5, and then my closing thoughts. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, all those purple numbers, expected goals 4, high danger Corsi 4, and scoring chances 4. None of that looks very good in terms of Edmonton because anything above 50% is usually considered okay, that's, you were controlling play. It was very obvious right from puck drop. The Kings were playing desperate hockey. They are playing for their playoff lives, and they came out just flying, and they did not let up. And the Oilers, they got their one power play goal, which was great. They went up 1-0, and then I think they just decided, hey, we have a goal. Let's just play defense the rest of the game. And they found a way to pull out the win. I would say Edmonton probably wants to improve at 5-on-5 in Game 5, and hopefully the series doesn't go much longer than that. If it does, obviously playing like this, not super sustainable, even though Skinner played amazing. Probably not something that you want to try and do and, try and have your goalie steal a game that often. But for Stuart Skinner, I just want to say probably the best game he's played as an Oiler. And for all the talk of Skinner after Game 1 and especially Game 2, there was a lot of discourse around Stuart Skinner at the end of Game 2. Can he be the guy? Can he steal you a game? Should we have gotten a goaltender at the trade deadline? None of that matters. What matters right now is the Oilers have a 3-1 series lead. Stuart Skinner, in 3 of the 4 games, in my opinion, he has played terrific. Game 1, there was 2 really dumb, fluky goals that went against him. Game 3, he shut things down when he had to. And then obviously Game 4, he gave up 1 goal in 2 games in Los Angeles. You know how hard that is to do, whether you're an elite goaltender or, an average goaltender, just as a team too. That's a testament to the Oilers' defensive play as well. Their puck management. Now, in this game, puck management wasn't nearly as good as it has been. They did not possess the puck nearly as much as they have in the first 3 games. The Kings, like I mentioned, they were playing desperate hockey, and Stuart Skinner was unbelievable. Cannot say enough good things about Skinner. I have been on the Stuart Skinner train for quite some time now, several months. I do believe that he can be the guy. I think he can be the guy that leads the team with a deep playoff run. Obviously, he has his moments. There are some goals where you're like, okay, well, you'd like a save. Every goalie has those moments, but you look at some of the goaltenders in the playoffs this year, look at some of their stats, and these are goaltenders on paper that have a much higher pedigree than Stuart Skinner so far in his career. And they are getting, there's a lot of goalies getting absolutely exposed and wiped in the playoffs right now. And for Stuart Skinner, he's now up to a .919 save percentage. He's up to, I think, a 1.4 goal saved above expected. I think he ranks 4th or 5th in the playoffs now in that category. The last 2 games have been absolute masterclass performances from Skinner, and you absolutely love to see it. Now, in saying that, I am going to talk about the Oilers' defensive structure. As I mentioned a little bit in the intro, the Oilers were really effective at kind of keeping the Kings to the outside, the perimeter. They weren't allowing a whole lot in the middle of the ice, in that slot area, the high danger area, I call it. Some people call it, I don't know, not the trapezoid. I forget what it's called, but they call it on broadcast sometimes. But they did get some looks in there. And the Kings, towards the end of the game, they were just getting desperate and they just started throwing everything on net. The third period, I don't even know what the shot attempts were in the third period. I think the shot attempts were 20-6 at 5-on-5 for the Kings. I would say probably out of those 20 attempts from LA, I would probably say about 15 were just they're trying to get something on net and they're looking for rebounds and they're just trying to create traffic in front, havoc in the crease. And there was a lot of net front, battles, and, the puck's kind of sitting there and there's mad scrambles for it. But the Oilers defense, they did not panic in terms of, their defensive play in their zone. Now, they were a little panicky when it came to breakouts. The Oilers did not get a lot of clean breakouts. And I mentioned this on the live stream as well. LA, they weren't back in their 1-3-1 formation very often. 1, because they had the puck so much during the game. And 2, they made an adjustment. Jim Hiller made an adjustment to the team's tactics. Yes, sometimes they were able to get back in that 1-3-1, but they were so much more aggressive on the forecheck than they have been in the first 3 games. They constantly had 2 players pressuring at all times. It was like a really, really high pressure, like a 2-1-2 almost is what it looked like. And for the Oilers, I don't know if they were caught off guard. I think, everyone should have expected this type of play from LA. They should have been expecting, the desperation, I guess I should say. And I'm not going to say the Oilers weren't ready, but the Kings, they had a game plan and they executed. Unfortunately for them, they just weren't able to beat Stuart Skinner last night. And, for the Oilers defense, they bent, but they weren't breaking. I mentioned it at the end of the first period. I was like, this team is bending, but they are not breaking. I would like to see them push a little bit more. And, at the end of the day, the Oilers, they don't ask how, they ask how many. The Oilers now have 3 wins, and for Stuart Skinner and the defense, the defense, and when I talk about defense, I'm not talking about just the defensemen, not the 6D on the ice, but also all the forwards as well. There's a major commitment away from the puck that was very positive to see. It's something that we don't see a whole lot in Oil Country. A lot of discourse around whether the team can play good enough defense to win games. Last night showed that they can. They just need to manage the puck a little bit better, get on the attack a little bit more, establish some kind of cycle and forecheck. They got pretty much no attacks off the rush last night. But it was a great effort all around from everybody. That's one of those games where, everyone put in 120% top to bottom in the lineup, and you love to see it. Now, when we talk about defense, I want to talk about Vinny D once again. Vinny D 2.0. Unbelievable game from him. If game 3 was the best game that he's played in an Oilers uniform so far, which I did say it was in the last video, game 4 may have been even better. He followed that up. Unbelievable performance from Vincent Desharnais. He was the only defenseman on the Oilers to not be under 50% in expected goals for or Corsi for percentage, according to Natural Stat Trick. He played an unbelievable game. Once again, just where he is position-wise, and there was a couple shifts where he was caught a little long, and, he's not able to win the races to the puck in the corner, and LA was attacking his side a lot. They were attacking his corner. They were dumping it into his corner a lot because they have the speed advantage on him. But Vinny Desharnais, he has the reach advantage, he has the height advantage, he has the size advantage, he has the physical advantage on pretty much everyone against LA, and he is so effective with his stick at breaking up passes, breaking up the cycle, preventing passes from getting to the slot area. And just where he is on the ice, he forces the Kings to either cycle it around and try and go behind him, or he forces them back to the point, and then the Oilers can kind of continue to, press and keep everyone to the outside. And when Vinny D was on the ice, you felt calm. Everything felt calm when he was on the ice. He was a calming presence back there. And Vinny Desharnais is just like, he's taken another step in his career. It's unbelievable to watch. Edmonton needs to extend him this summer. I don't know what he's going to ask in terms of contract, the pricing. You have to make it work with the cap, obviously. And there's some other guys that need to be re-upped as well. But Vinny D, he has come to play in the playoffs. There was some question marks about whether he'd be able to handle playoff pressure this year. He struggled a little bit in the playoffs last year, especially against the Kings. But the way he has played this regular season and so far in the 4 games against the Kings, I would say he is like the unsung hero right now in terms of just every Oiler. I think Vinny D is honestly the unsung hero. He has played so good, and he is instrumental on the penalty kill as well. The Oilers, once again, now we're going to kind of move into special teams here. The Oilers killed off their only penalty that they took, so discipline was great. And for both teams, both teams were getting away with a lot. The refs, they were letting them play for the most part. I would have liked to see a few more calls here and there on both sides. I thought the Oilers got away with a bunch of plays. The Kings got away with a bunch. But the refs, they went, you know what? We're going to let them play. And we're going to see what happens. And my cat is meowing at me. Hey, bud. He does. So he's going to probably jump up here. So special teams, the Oilers went 1 for 1 on their power play. They went 1 for 1 on the penalty kill. Their power play continues to absolutely eat the Kings alive. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pick up my cat. Hey, Tass. How you doing? Want to say hi to everyone? He's like, no. He doesn't want to. My apologies about that little Tass interruption. Hey, buddy. He's looking for attention this morning. It's early. He probably wants food. So special teams, like I mentioned, power play 1 for 1, penalty kill 1 for 1. The Oilers' power play has been absolutely traumatic against the LA Kings. I mean, if you're an LA Kings fan, anytime the Oilers get a power play, that probably doesn't feel good. If you're the Oilers, I'm glad that they took advantage of their 1 power play that they got. It's been the difference maker in this whole series, their power play and penalty kill. The reason why the Oilers are up in the series 3-1 is because of special teams, special plays, special players. Sorry, I keep saying that because of sketch. But, the special teams has been terrific for Edmonton. Let's see if they can continue that. We'll see what game 5 looks like in Edmonton, what the power plays look like. I'm very comfortable with Edmonton's penalty killing right now. Everyone works together on the ice as a cohesive unit. I don't even think the LA Kings got a single shot on their one power play in the third period. It was a terrific effort once again, and Evan Bouchard, he had the BOUCH bomb for Edmonton on the power play, make it 1-0. That ended up being the game winner, and you love to see it. Talking about special teams and also discipline here, I thought the discipline for Edmonton was really, really good, really solid. They didn't get caught up in anything after whistles. The LA Kings, they weren't really trying to, they weren't instigating anything like they were last game. But like I said, they were focused on just getting the win. They were desperate team trying to get a win, trying to even the series, get a win on home ice for their fans. Unfortunately for them, they weren't able to do it. The Oilers, after whistles, nobody was going after each other. They were just focusing on hockey. And this game flew by. This was like a really, really quick game. It felt fast, even though, a lot of times if you see a 1-0 game in the regular season, sometimes it'll feel slow. Sometimes it can feel disjointed. But I thought last night's game was actually incredibly exciting, and I don't know if it's because I was live streaming and doing commentary, but it was a really fun game to watch in my opinion. Like I said, I just want Edmonton to push a little bit more at even strength, try and establish a bit of a cycle, see if they can attack off the rush a little bit more. But that effort level, everyone deserved their paychecks last night for sure. And for the discipline factor, Edmonton was incredibly disciplined. It's pretty rare that a team, when you're like hemmed in your own zone as often as Edmonton was, to not take those holding, those hooking penalties, slashing, infractions, because you're trying to slow the other team down when they're constantly cycling against you. So that's a testament to Edmonton as a team, not getting involved in that, and they were able to weather the storm for 60 minutes, and it was a storm for 60 minutes. Like, it's not like it was like 10 minutes of a storm. No, that was a full 60-minute storm that they had to weather, and they did successfully. Now, in saying that, we're going to quickly look ahead to Game 5, and then I'll have some closing thoughts. So Game 5 is Wednesday night in Edmonton. I'm actually just going to check the time that they play on Wednesday. They have 2 days off. Looks like it's to be determined, so there is no start time yet as of right now. It will be at Rogers Place. I will be live streaming that game. Now, when it comes to lineup changes, Derek Ryan did play for Sam Carrick last night. I'm wondering if they put Sam Carrick back in. The fourth line was not effective at all, in my opinion. Dylan Holloway didn't get a whole lot of ice time. Derek Ryan didn't get a whole lot of ice time. Janmark looked a little shaken up at one point in the third period. So don't be surprised if you see a fourth line change coming up, whether it's Carrick going in or maybe Connor Brown steps into the lineup. And that's nothing against Dylan Holloway. I just feel like there might be a little bit of a change there. And when it comes to the line combinations, I still like all the lines. I thought the McLeod, Fogle, Corey Perry line was actually probably Edmonton's best line last night. Just the eye test, it felt like they were the only line that was ever able to establish any kind of offensive zone pressure. They were getting some looks, which was really good to see. McLeod and Perry are two of the only forwards that don't have a point yet in the series, other than Derek Ryan for the Oilers. They are due, and I'm hoping that they can break through soon. My player to watch last night was Adam Henrique. He looked, he's a little quiet, but, he does the right thing, away from the puck. He's doing the right things. If he's unnoticeable, that's usually a good sign. So for Game 5, I do expect the top line to remain Henrique, McDavid, Hyman. The second line, I do expect to remain Kane, Nuge, and Draisaitl. Third line, McLeod, Perry, and Fogle. It's the fourth line where you might see some tweaks. And on the defensive side, I know a couple black aces were called up from the Condors. Bakersfield's season ended. They lost to the Ontario Reign, which is the LA Kings affiliate, which is kind of interesting that they played them in their first round in the AHL playoffs. They called up Broberg and Jack Campbell. Of course, I don't think Phil Broberg is going to get any ice time, or Jack Campbell. Of course, if Jack Campbell's playing, that means Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner are injured. And I really hope that we don't have a situation like the Canucks are in right now, where both their starting goaltenders went down. Nothing against Jack Campbell, but I just did want to mention that the Oilers did call up those two players from Bakersfield, and expect a couple more call-ups as well. Just, that's just how it works in the playoffs. Teams have their black aces. They have a lot of guys from their AHL affiliate just hanging out, my apologies, on the roster. I'm surprised I even have a voice still after last night. 3 hours of straight commentary and talking with chat and answering questions, and yeah, crazy. Game 5, I'm very much looking forward to it. I really hope that we don't have another 8:50 p.m. local time puck drop in Edmonton. I would love to see like a 7 or 7:30 p.m. puck drop if possible. Probably won't get that though, because of the way the NHL schedules things. I won't be surprised if it's another 8 or 8:30 p.m. puck drop at minimum. But pretty much that's it. That's today's day after discussion. I was kind of rambly, kind of all over the place. So I hope you ended up enjoying your stay. I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything I missed, or if there's anything that you wanted me to talk about, if there's anything that you do want me to touch on in the next video that I make, just let me know in the comment section below. I love reading comments. I take all constructive feedback seriously, and I do appreciate all the comments everyone's been leaving. There's been a lot of Kings fans leave comments, and they've been very positive. If you see Kings fans in the comment section and they're being nice, make sure that we are also being nice. Be good ambassadors as Oilers fans. Let's remain positive. Let's remain friendly and kind to other people. And in the stream last night, there's a few people that said that they were pretty much brand new to hockey. They were tuning in. They were asking some questions. So if you also see other people asking questions about the game, make sure, like I said, let's be positive ambassadors on this channel as Oilers fans. Help people out and continue to remain really good about everything here. And hopefully the Oilers can go into Game 5. Hopefully we can close this thing out, wrap it up, and get ready for round 2. But can't look too far ahead. You have to win 4 games in a series, and I've seen teams blow 3-1 series leads a little more often than I'd like to in my life. We all know what happened with Boston last year in round 1 against Florida. So yeah, we don't want to get too comfortable here, but it is nice being up 3-1. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I truly do appreciate it. If you liked today's video, make sure you hit like. If you really liked it, make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, tell someone that you love them today. All right. I will see you tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Sorry. I'll see you Wednesday with the pregame report. And of course, I will live stream Wednesday night's game as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a video up tomorrow. I might. We will see. But until then, just keep an eye out on the channel. All right. Appreciate all of your support. You are all amazing. Thank you so much, Oil Country. We will see you in the next one. Take care.